Welcome back to the Stephen Knight Show. Our next guest is a tenured artist, musician, public speaker, writer, and communicator who recently released his new EP, Dead or Alive Part 1. Please help me welcome the talented Tedashii to the show. Welcome to the show.
Man, thank you for having me, bro. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Definitely appreciate you taking time. I know you're a busy man, got a lot going on, so let's get into it.
You know, here or there, here or there.
So for those of you, you've been doing this for 20 years. Let us know a little bit about your background.
Yeah, man. So I grew up in the great state of Texas, as we say, and grew up outside the Houston area and eventually left there, went to college at Baylor, played football, did track, and then ended up transitioning out of sports after an injury. And that's when music kind of came into my life. I feel like I've always been around music because I grew up with my mom who sang in blues clubs. She sang in church. Like my mom was always doing music. But on top of that, I grew up playing in the band. I was the weird dude who played in the band, but also played football. So, I'm the guy marching on the field in my football uniform. But it's a part of the process, I guess.
Absolutely.
But I leave college, I leave Baylor, and then eventually I moved to Dallas. And that's where I end up meeting up with other friends who would eventually start a label that I joined called Reach Records. And man, like you said, that was in 2005, bro. So it's been a run.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
been
yeah.
a run, bro.
Yes. And so when you all, when they started Reach Records and they said, okay, we want to sign you, want you to
Yeah.
be artist. Tell us about that.
So when they said, "Hey, man, we want to sign you. We think you're amazing. We think you're talented." These are their words, and they're like, "Man, we think you would be a good fit. Think it'd be really great, bro. We just starting out. We're trying to do something new, something different. I feel like you could contribute to that, man. What do you say?" And I was like, "No, no, thank you. I'm good."
And why was
Like,
that? Why was that resistance?
man, I grew up in a family who was like, my family is military, they're educators, or they're both, bro. Like that's all I know. Like
Yeah.
I knew if I didn't make it to the NFL, I was about to go be a coach and a health teacher. Like I just knew, like I'm gonna be
Right.
a coach, I'm gonna become a principal. Like my mom retired after 40 years of teaching, my auntie still teaching after 45 years.
Mhm.
Like so many relatives, like no exaggeration, 90% of my family are educators. So all
Okay.
of
Yeah.
them are coaching, they're teaching. My mom coached volleyball, coached track, coached basketball. So I was like, man, I'm about to do the same thing, just quote unquote go into family business. And then
Mhm.
and then as they kept pressing me, I was like, man, let me just ask some people what they think. So I started talking to friends and different people in my life, different mentors, and I was like, man, y'all tell me, like, is this something I should do, not do?
Yeah.
And I was thinking of it more of a longevity thing. Like, man, I don't want to do this and waste my time when I can go do this and
Exactly.
start my career. And a
Yeah.
lot of people was like, man, why not? Like you're young, you don't have
Mhm.
no kids, like just try it. If it
Yeah.
doesn't work out, you can always come back, brother. It ain't got to be that serious. And I was like,
Right.
okay. So man, I said yes after probably 4 or 5 months of deliberation, and man, I ain't look back.
Yeah. Absolutely. Now you talk a lot about some of the things you've gone through,
Yeah.
and where it's gotten you today, including the loss of your 1-year-old son Chase, which
Yes.
I know that happened, but condolences to that
Thank you,
even
bro.
so.
Thank you, bro.
Um, so how did you determine the type of music you wanted to create and put out in the world?
Yeah, man. Honestly, I grew up listening to hip hop when hip hop was talking about positivity and it was talking about like we as a people can progress, like all this
Right.
stuff was there. And then eventually I started getting into West Coast rap, which was more, I mean, it was in your face and it was gritty, but it was more about having a good time or talking about the bad times that get in the way of the good times. Like that's what
Yeah.
it felt like. And then this notion of like real recognize real came out of all of that. And I said,
Mhm.
man, I want to rap, but I want to be real. I want to be true. Like I grew up around dudes that sold drugs, but I was an athlete, so I ain't do that. Like I
Right.
wanted a scholarship. I wanted to keep my game up. I ain't go that route. But I definitely wanted to still be real and true to who I was. And for the longest time, I thought if I ain't got one of these scary street stories, then I guess I can't really
Right.
be in hip hop. And
Yeah.
my story is hood. It just ain't street. And so
Right.
I was
Right.
like, nah, I
It's
still got
different.
something to say. Right. But I still got something to say, man. So I leaned into being myself and saying, I'm going to talk about the stuff that I deal with, like heartbreak and frustration and money issues and hood
Mhm.
problems that you face, like growing up in a place where there's nobody else like you. You got to figure out how to fit in. You got to figure out how to live a certain way. So all of that for me was kind of how I started, and real recognized real. So I had to talk about what was true. So for me, it was God, family, and my ability to try to communicate a vision that I feel like God put on my heart. So I was like, I'm running with that.
Yeah. And I read you said that you always felt like you were attacked by the enemy in a spiritual and in many cases literally.
Yes, bro.
Uh and I think I read that you had to choose life. You choose to
Yeah,
live. You choose
yeah,
to move forward and not let those setbacks hit you. Tell us about, and you don't have to go into great detail, but some of the
yeah,
things, obviously the loss of a child, I can only imagine.
yeah,
But and then you hurt on a tour, you fell on a
yeah,
tour.
yeah,
So tell us about some of the things why you felt like you were always under constant attack. Like,
yeah.
can you give us a little bit of that?
Man, I appreciate that. So that whole concept and idea is in reference to the newest project I just put out called Dead or Alive.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
it basically is, the title is Dead or Alive, but the tagline for it is Dead or Alive. You decide, like you choose. There was a
Mm-hmm.
place and time in my life where I was faced with that option of, man, after losing my son, right before losing my son, I lost my baby sister and my younger sister, and then my stepmother. So I was already in a place of
Yeah.
like, life sucks, you know what I'm saying? And then I get to this place of losing my son. And statistically speaking, marriages don't make it through that. So
Right.
me and my wife started to be at odds. So I'm like, man, my ride or die and I aren't clicking. My son is gone. My sister just left. My other sister already gone. Like, it was so much, bro, that I was
Yeah.
like, man, it seemed like not being here is the best option because I don't like being me right now. And so there was those wrestles of suicidal ideation where I know that ultimately that was spiritual warfare for me.
Yeah.
And then even beyond that, when I was one, and I have a song on the new project called Family Tree that talks about when I was one, I had third degree burns. Like, that's how I start the song off. Third degree burns. I was one, looking at my face, you can't tell. Made it through the flames, spitting flames, man on fire like I'm Denzel. And I'm like, man, I had hot boiling water fall on me and burn my skin. And the doctor basically told my grandfather and my mom, like, if your neighbor, the neighbor came with that old school, old
Yeah.
country black woman remedy, she had a
Yep.
salve,
Yep.
put it on my skin. She saved my skin. She saved my life. And I'm like,
Wow.
man, you know what? I really do feel like the devil been trying to take me out since I was one. So that's kind of how it felt. And me, everybody go through something hard, man. And I'm not trying to downplay what people go through
Right.
because
Yeah.
it's tough. Everybody hardship ain't the same, but it's still hard. So I don't want to take that away. What I will say is, though, in those moments of hardship, I felt myself realizing, man, I feel like the devil been trying to take me out since day one. Why am I going to do his job for him and help him and give
Mhm.
up? So I'm like, nah, I'm choosing life. You know what?
Yeah.
That's what this is about to be. I'm choosing life. So this music on this new project, Dead or Alive, points to the wrestle of this, but to the ultimate idea of choosing life.
Yeah. Yeah. When did you have that epiphany that I'm going to choose life? Like, you've gone through so much. When did it click for you? This is what I have to do.
Yeah, man. I was like you said earlier, and before the question, you referenced me having an accident on tour. I was on tour in Orlando in the dark, pitch black, trying to navigate and maneuver my way on stage for a big group finale that we do every night. And I ended up slipping on some wires. I tripped over
Mhm.
the base of a stand of a that held up the screen, and I fell and I hit my forehead and my eye, lacerated both. I ended up with 20 stitches, and then ended up with a severe concussion as a result. So, growing up playing football, playing ball in college, I know what it
Yeah.
means to feel a concussion. But this was something different, bro. Like I couldn't walk for a little while. I had headaches constantly, bright lights and loud noises. I could not handle it whatsoever. I went to, I ended up being down, literally down for 14 weeks. I couldn't leave my house. I tried twice to leave my house, and each time I had to go home because I couldn't do it. Early on in the
Yeah.
accident, my son, he would help me to the bathroom, my little son, like helping me to the bathroom to walk, to brush my teeth, to do whatever, because I could not do it on my own. I couldn't stand up on my
Right.
own. And during that time frame, I honestly think people just assume because they don't hear from you, everything must be okay or something.
Right.
Like during that time, nobody came to help, check on, none of that. Nobody showed up.
Yeah.
Nobody was down in the
Mhm.
basement going, man, you all right? What you need? Nobody. So during that moment I started to feel alone, and I was like, man, am I just not important to people? Do I not matter?
Right.
And the feeling, the thought of giving up and just kind of saying, man, who cares about life, man? Don't nobody care. I didn't know what was going to happen. I had lost, at this point I had lost my hearing in my right ear. My vision was blurry, and I couldn't stand up on my own. So I thought, well, is this the rest of my life? Is this what I'm about to be? And in
Right.
that, nobody's checking, nobody's asking questions. So I go, yo, I guess this is it. I'm on my own, man. So you know what? If this is how life finna be, I don't want to live. And that thought came in my head, and the very next thought was, but you got so much to live for. Like I
Yeah.
feel like that was the thought. I looked at my kids, I looked at my wife, I looked at my life.
Yeah.
I was like, but I personally, me, not the friend, the brother, the son, but me, the person, the human, the man. You got so much to live for. Don't do the devil's work for him and quit and give up.
Yeah.
I leaned in, bro, and was like, no, I choose life. It was literally during that healing process.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, no
Well,
doubt,
let's talk
man.
about the EP Dead or Alive Part One.
Yeah.
Um, how does it feel? I know you released it last month. How does it feel to finally have it out?
Bro, you have no idea. I mean, it's like, I honestly, it felt like, I don't know if there's maybe Valentine's Day is the reverse of Christmas. I have no idea. Like Christmas is supposed to be the season where you get, it's better to give than receive. That's what they tell us.
Yeah.
But it'd be so cool as a kid when you get the gift you want and you just play with that toy over and over.
Right. Yep.
I was hoping that I was giving people a gift they wanted. Like, oh, I hope they want this. I want it for them. Like, I was so excited to get this out, bro. So the beauty of Dead or Alive to me, not only do I think it's the best music I've ever made, but it's literally some of the most honest and truthful words that I've said in a project, besides
Yeah.
my album Below Paradise. Neverfold was kind of like an album that where I was being honest, but I was also really trying to go with a narrative. But for this one,
Right.
I'm like, yo, I'm trying to spit bars, and I'm trying to let
Yeah.
people know what's real out here.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, bro.
So, what is some of the reaction you've been getting from releasing this project?
Well, first off, I'm doing more interviews like this, so people must
Yeah.
clearly be interested in it. Like I'm
Right.
grateful for you having me
Absolutely.
on. I appreciate that. Like there's this response where people are going, "Oh, we need to talk to him about this." So
Yeah.
like I don't know, what is your typical listenership? Like who are the people, like demographic that you get?
18 to 35, a little bit older, maybe. Mostly African American, but we get people all over.
Yeah, no, that's beautiful. I love that. So I'm just saying the response has been so good. At 11 o'clock this morning, I was being interviewed by the Catholic Faith Network, which was
Oh
all
wow.
white Catholics. And
Yeah.
now I'm talking
Yeah.
to you. So I'm like, the
Right.
broad scope of who has been impacted or impressed is like crazy to me. I'm like, yo,
Yeah.
man, I'm out here talking to people from all different worlds and all walks of life about this music.
Yeah.
And so I'm so excited. The response has been as good as it's been. The fans have loved it, people have loved. I think for a lot of times, man, you wrestle with, do I create the art that I feel burdened to create, or
Yeah.
do I go after what would be a win financially? Like, what am I trying to
Exactly.
create? What am I living for
Yeah.
real? And I feel like this project, it has been the culmination of both. Like, I don't want to do anything that will fail and miss the mark for
Mhm.
my family, but I also don't want to deal with what's disingenuous for who I am as a person. So that has been huge for me.
I'm gonna throw out some titles to you from some of the songs on the EP, and you
Yeah,
give me just rapid fire what comes to mind when you think of the songs. Okay,
yeah,
we'll start
yeah,
with Family Tree.
yeah. Family all day long, bro.
Okay, Victory Lap.
Winning. I'm out here winning, bro. I'm not
Yeah,
losing. I'm winning. I'm winning.
Dead or Alive.
Choosing life.
Like, It's Up.
Ready to fight. Like that's my life done punched me in my gut, but I ain't going down, bro. I'm ready to fight.
All right, Save Us.
Prayer.
Mm,
Prayer.
mm. Ready for War.
War is real. Like I want cats to know, like war really is real. Like it's an everyday battle. It don't stop.
Yeah. Okay, is that the freestyle?
Oh yeah,
What's in front of that?
MMA freestyle,
MMA.
MMA.
Oh, okay. MMA freestyle
Yeah, yeah,
battle.
that's a battle, bro. I want to cat like I tried to do my best to spit bars, bro. Spit bars. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you? I'm sorry to be so unprofessional. Can I put you on hold 1 minute?
Sure.
Do you mind
Sure.
that? Do you mind that?
No,
I'm
no
so
problem
sorry,
at all.
bro. One.
That's okay. And so the final title is Texas Pete.
Texas Pete. I just got to say H-Town, bro. H-Town. One time for H-Town. Bro, I grew up right outside of Houston. Houston has always been a huge influence on me musically,
Yeah.
even just as who I am as a person. Like, it's not just Texas is such a big state. When you say
Yeah.
when you say you're a Texan, people from Texas automatically just go, "Dope, you're from Texas," and you kind of understand what that means. But
Mm-hmm.
then beyond that, it's like, oh wait, I'm from Texas, but I'm from Southeast Texas. It's different. So
Mm.
just knowing the type of flavor that comes out of a city like Houston, bro, the most diverse city in
Yeah.
the country, crazy.
Yeah. I love Houston, by the way. Love Houston.
Yeah, yeah.
So you talked about your son, but you're the founder of the Chase Foundation. Tell us about that.
Yes. So my son Chase passed away, and if he was here now, he would be living his life. He'd be doing whatever my other kids are doing, going to school,
Mm-hmm.
working to get good grades, making sure that he's doing his chores, like all the things that he should be doing as a kid. And
Right.
his life, Lord willing, would be on a trajectory toward being a productive person in society, but also just fulfilling the purpose he has.
Right.
So with his life being taken so soon, it makes me go, well, what would have been the purpose for him? And how can I, as a father, honor Chase by continuing that purpose? And so as I
Yeah.
thought about it, I was like, man, Chase was a happy baby. Like there was this, like his cheeks were huge. He always had like this juicy smile that would linger and hang. And I'm
Yeah.
just like, man, everybody had comments about how he was the one that as soon as he saw you, he lit up and it would just make you smile too. And so I was like, man, I want to bring that kind of joy to the world because that kind of, to me, that type of joy opens the door for hope. And
Yeah.
so I wanted to start the Chase Foundation, which we have, which is an organization whose mission is to be a present help for future hope. There are
Mhm.
individuals who go through things in life and hope is not always present, but
Yeah.
people can be. And so
Absolutely.
I want to be one of those people that's present in the life of individuals who've gone through what we've gone through, not just the parents, even the siblings of the child that passed. Like
Yeah.
I want to love the family well. And so what that looks like starting out, because we're just starting out, is creating and doing retreats for the parents to get them out of their normal environment and bring
Mm-hmm.
them to a place to where we love on them, where we make
Yeah.
them, because I personally believe, just my personal belief, I believe children that leave this world before their time end up back in heaven. So for me, if heaven is paradise, I want them to get a taste, just a small taste. Like my uncle used to say, I'm gonna give you a ski taste of
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you a ski taste of what heaven is really like so you can get a glimpse of what your baby is experiencing, what your child is really experiencing. And maybe hopefully that'll give you some comfort. Because for me, it did. When someone did that for me, it really did. It doesn't remove the pain. It doesn't fast forward the process of grief. But what it does is give you a glimmer or a glimpse of hope as you move through it. To know, like, yo, man, it's crappy right now, but bro, I remember when we was out on that retreat, like, dude, really made sense about this moment. And they got a moment to look back to, something to hold on to, bro. So that's why we doing it, man.
I love it. I love it. Tell us about the Dash podcast.
Yo, you know about it all. Let's go. All right. So so the Dash is a podcast that I started because I really do believe with all my heart that we need to reignite critical thinking in our culture. Somewhere along the line, critical thinking got replaced with being impulsive. And impulsive thoughts are juvenile at best, in my opinion. That's just my humble but very haughty opinion, that I'm like, man, if we could just for a moment think critically about what's really going on with us and the world around us, I think we would respond differently than we normally see on social media, on interviews, in reality TV. Like, I feel like we would see a difference if we took a moment to think critically instead of being impulsive. And so the Dash exists to help people think critically about themselves and the world around them. And so, of course, the word dash represents the dash in between the birth date and the death date. Like, what are you going to do with your dash? That's kind of my thought.
Yeah.
But beyond that, my name, Tedashii, is spelled Tedashii. So the word dash is literally in the middle of my name. And me being this creative, artistic, nerdy band football dude, I was like, that's kind of dope. So I'm gonna name it the Dash.
Yeah, I like that.
So yeah, bro. So we've got 2 seasons so far, and they kind of deal with the music that I put out. But the 3rd season I'm working on now is really kind of more broad because I want to address more issues true to where I come from, not just what the music leads me to. So I'm excited about it, man.
Congratulations on all that.
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
Where can everybody keep up with everything you have going on? Because it's a lot.
It's a lot. It's a lot, man. So you can definitely look me up on anything social media. I'm on all of them: X, Twitter, whatever they want to call themselves now. Facebook, right? Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I even got a Snapchat still. So let's go. So it's like I got all that, but then you can find me on all the musical DSPs platforms: Apple, Spotify, Amazon, Google Play. Like, it don't matter, if you name it, I'm there. Audio Mac. So I'm present in all those places. But then beyond that, I tell everybody, man, to really get a glimpse of what I'm really about, YouTube is a great place to go to. And so you can just find by my name. If you type in TED, you'll get the TED Talk stuff. But if you add an A, you'll get me. Yeah. So I tell everybody, just type in TEDA, man. Like, just go there and you'll see me. So yeah.
Most definitely. Listen, our thanks goes out to Tedashii for joining us tonight. His new EP, Dead or Alive Part 1, is available wherever you buy your music. For more information, please go to our website at StephenKnightShow.com, and we'll be right back after this.